chamber fell silent as Ambassador Kira stepped forward, her crystalline blue skin shimmering under the artificial lights. Representatives from dozens of star systems watched in bewilderment as she raised her elongated arm and pointed directly at the human delegation. "I choose him as my champion," she announced, her voice carrying the melodic quality typical of her species. "The one called Marcus." Marcus Thompson nearly choked on his water. He was a maintenance engineer aboard the human diplomatic vessel, not even supposed to be in the chamber. He had only entered to fix a faulty air recycler and somehow found himself at the center of an intergalactic incident. The Vorphic ambassador, a hulking creature covered in scales, let out a rumbling laugh. "You jest, Ambassador Kira. Your people face extinction, and you choose this small, weak creature as your champion? Even we acknowledge that humans are among the least impressive species in the galaxy." Other representatives murmured their agreement. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as the newcomers, barely capable of interstellar travel, possessing no extraordinary physical abilities or advanced technology. They were tolerated in galactic society, but rarely taken seriously. Ambassador Wells, the human representative, stood up hastily. "Ambassador Kira, surely there has been some mistake. Marcus is not a warrior or diplomat. He is simply a technician." Kira's large, violet eyes remained fixed on Marcus. "There is no mistake. According to the ancient laws of challenge, when the hegemony threatens to absorb my people, I may choose any being in this chamber as my champion." "I choose him?" The hegemony representative, a tall being with 4 arms and metallic skin, stepped forward. "Very well. If the Kalari insist on this foolishness, we shall honor the ancient ways. Our champion will face this human in combat. When he loses, the Kalari worlds will join the hegemony willingly." Marcus felt his knees wobble. Combat. He had never been in a real fight in his life. His hands were better suited for wielding wrenches than weapons. He looked around desperately, hoping someone would intervene, but the ancient laws were binding. Once a champion was chosen and accepted by the opposing party, the challenge could not be withdrawn. "I accept," Kira said solemnly. The hegemony's champion was announced within the hour. Brock the Destroyer, a veteran warrior from the Gladiator. Worlds stood 3 meters tall and possessed enough cybernetic enhancements to level a small building. His 4 arms each carried a different weapon, and his exoskeleton gleamed with protective plating. Marcus spent the next day in his quarters, frantically reading everything he could about Kalari culture, trying to understand why Kira had chosen him. The Kalari were an ancient species, known for their wisdom and their ability to perceive what others could not. They were pacifists by nature, which made their current predicament all the more tragic. Ambassador Wells visited him multiple times, offering to find a way out of the challenge, but Marcus found himself oddly determined. He could not explain why, but something about Kira's absolute certainty gave him courage. The combat arena was a neutral space station that had hosted such challenges for millennia. As Marcus entered the ring, wearing basic protective gear that felt ridiculously inadequate, he could hear the murmurs from the viewing galleries. Betting pools heavily favored Brock, with odds of several thousand to 1. Brock entered from the opposite side, his heavy footsteps echoing through the arena. Each of his weapons hummed with energy, and his augmented muscles rippled beneath his armor. He looked at Marcus with something approaching pity. "I will make this quick, little human," Brock rumbled through his voice amplifier. The referee, a floating sphere of light, announced the rules. Combat continues until one champion yields or is unable to continue. Use of any equipment brought into the arena is permitted. Begin. Brock immediately charged forward, his 4 weapons spinning in a deadly pattern. Marcus did the only thing his instincts told him to do. He ran. The crowd erupted in laughter as the humans sprinted around the arena, dodging Brock's attacks by the narrowest of margins. But Marcus was not running randomly. His years as a maintenance engineer had taught him to analyze systems, to find weaknesses and inefficiencies. As Brock pursued him, Marcus studied his opponent's movement patterns. The cybernetic enhancements were impressive, but required enormous energy. The four-armed attack style looked intimidating, but left certain angles vulnerable. Most importantly, Brock was designed for quick, overwhelming victory, not prolonged combat. Marcus began to use the arena itself as a tool. He ducked behind obstacles, forcing Brock to waste energy destroying them. He led his opponent into tight spaces where the larger being could not maneuver effectively. He scattered debris in Brock's path, causing the heavily augmented warrior to stumble. Minutes passed, then an hour. Brock's attacks grew slower, less coordinated. His energy cells were depleting faster than expected. The crowd's laughter had turned to confused silence, then to growing amazement. Marcus continued to evade, occasionally throwing pieces of debris or using his maintenance tools to interfere with Brock's equipment. He was not trying to damage his opponent so much as exhaust him, turn his greatest strengths into weaknesses. Finally, after 2 hours of pursuit, Brock's primary power cell died. His cybernetic arms locked up, his enhanced muscles seized, and he collapsed to one knee, gasping for breath. "I yield," Brock wheezed, his pride broken along with his energy reserves. The arena fell completely silent. Then slowly, Ambassador Kira began to applaud. The sound echoed through the chamber, joined gradually by others, until the entire station thundered with appreciation. As Marcus helped Brock to his feet, the defeated warrior looked at him with new respect. "How did you know?" he asked. "I fix things for a living," Marcus replied simply. After a while, you learned that the most complex systems usually have the simplest weaknesses. Later, as the Kalari celebrated their preserved independence, Marcus finally had a chance to speak privately with Ambassador Kira. "Why me?" he asked. "You could have chosen any of the diplomatic guards or Ambassador Wells himself." Kira's violet eyes sparkled with ancient wisdom. "Because, Marcus Thompson, you are what your species calls an engineer. You solve problems not with force, but with understanding. You see what others miss. The galaxy is full of warriors and conquerors, but it is engineers who truly change the universe." She paused, looking out at the stars through the stations. "Viewing port. Besides, your species is young, but shows promise. Perhaps it is time the galaxy learned that strength is not always measured in the obvious ways." Marcus smiled, finally understanding. Sometimes the most unlikely champions are exactly what the universe needs.